Let us now move on and take a sutram from the fourth quarter of chapter 3 of the Ashtadhyayi. This sutram is 3.465 and it says Shaka, Drisha, Jna, Gla, Ghata, Rabha, Labha, Krama, Sahar, Hastyartheshu, Tumun. This is one difficulty of this affix Tumun, is that the rules which prescribe Tumun are not in one compact section of the Ashtadhyayi. We have already studied 3.3.10, which was Tumun Nulau Kriyayam Kriyarthayam. Then we went on and we took 3.3.158 Saman Kartrike Shuttumun, and also 3.3.167 Kal Samaya Vela Sutumun, and now we are taking 3.4.65, and later on we'll also take a look at 3.4.66 Paryapti Vachaneshvalam Artheshu. So these rules are scattered in 3.3 and 3.4 of the Ashtadhyayi in the third quarter and the fourth quarter of chapter 3 of the Ashtadhyayi. So please make a note of these. They are not located in one compact section of the Ashtadhyayi. They are in different places in the third and fourth quarter of the Ashtadhyayi chapter 3. Okay, let us see what the vritti of the sutram now says. It says Eshu upapadeshu dhatostumun syat. Now we know why it says upapadeshu, because that entire long compound starting with shaka, drisha and ending with astyartheshu, that ends in the saptami bahuvachanam. And we know what that means by 3.192 tatropapadam saptami stham. This points to the upapadam. Upapadam means upa samipam ucharitam padam, means something which is mentioned close by, which occurs close by, which is in conjunction. So the meaning of this sutram is that the affix tumun may be used following a verbal root when in conjunction with any of the 11 verbal roots listed in the sutram. And the 11 verbal roots are as follows. The first one is shak, which is shaklr, shaktau from the svadiganaha. Second one is drisha, which is ni drisha pragalbhe from the svadiganaha. The third one is jna, which is jna avabodhane from the kriyadiganaha, which is well known to us. The fourth one is glai, which is glai harshakshaye from the bvadiganaha. In the sutram, Panini says gla and not glai. We know why that is, because by the sutram 6.145 adecha upadeshe shiti, if a dhatu ends in a h letter, a, o, I or au, then what happens? That ending h letter immediately is replaced by a akaraha, with the letter a, as long as there is not going to be a talavya shakara as a it following. Now when we add tumun, of course there's no question of any shakara as a it coming at all. So what happens is the glai becomes gla by 6.145 adecha upadeshe shiti. So that's why in the sutram Panini has gla. But the verbal root in the dhatu patha is glai harshakshaye in the bhadiganaha. Fifth one is ghata, which is ghata cheshtayam, also in the bhadiganaha. The sixth one is rabha, which is rabha rabhasye, the bhadiganaha. The seventh one is labha, which is do labhash or aptau, also from the bhadiganaha. The eighth one is krama, which is kramu pada vikshepe from the bhadiganaha. The ninth one is saha, which is shaha marshane from the bhadiganaha. The 10th one is arha, which is arha pujayam, also from the bhadiganaha. The last one is as, which is asa bhuvi from the adadiganaha. Now at the end of the sutram, Panini says artheshu. Artheshu means that it is not only these verbs specifically, not these specific verbal roots, but any verbal roots in this meaning, in the meaning of these. So synonyms are also included. Now here's a small controversy here, is in the Siddhanta Kaumudi we find the statement that arthagrahanam astinaiva samvadyate, that this ending artha in the sutram, artheshu it says, is to be connected only with asti according to the Siddhanta Kaumudi. And why is that? Anantaratvat, because that is the immediately preceding word in that long compound. So because we have shaka, drisha, jna, etc., and then we finally have asti artheshu. So because asti is the last one there and it's the closest to artha, so therefore Siddhanta Kaumudi says that the artha should be connected only with asti and not with the other 10 verbal roots. So as per this interpretation from the Siddhanta Kaumudi, synonyms of only as would qualify as uppadam, not synonyms of the other 10 verbal roots. So according to Siddhanta Kaumudi, we have to allow only those 10 specific verbal roots up to arha and then synonyms of as. But Apte, in his guide to Sanskrit composition, he says that this will create a problem because there are many usages in the language from good authors where we find synonyms of the 10 verbal roots besides asti, and in conjunction with that we find tumun being used. So if we don't allow for the synonyms of those 10 also, then we're going to have a situation to declare those standard usages as being irregular, apaniniya prayogaha. So that is why Apte says that the artha is to be connected with all the verbal roots and not just asti. And he gives good examples also. For Kalidasa has used na parayamaha, synonymous with shaknumaha. Nivedayitum, so we say tumun being used here in Shakuntalam, and then nurture Veda, synonymous with Janati. Veda and Janati, same meaning. Samyak drashtum nasa in Raghuvamsham. So these are these standard usages. Not only these, there are many others which would otherwise be against this sutram. This sutram could not be used to justify these usages unless we allow that artha to connect with all the verbal roots and not just the verbal root as. So the meaning given in this document here is that we have said in conjunction with any of the following verbal roots or their synonyms. So this is the way that Principal Apte has interpreted the sutram, and that will make it easy for us to justify all these usages. If we stick with the Siddhanta Kaumudi version, then we'll have a problem substantiating these instances that we find in many places in good literature. We can just take one example here from the Bhagavad Gita in chapter 1 itself. There are many examples of sutram in the Gita. This is actually a very important sutra. And also note one thing here, please, is that here there's no kriyartha kriya. There's not like we're having one action for the sake of another action. That is not there. So in all these instances of this sutram, 3.3.10 would not work because there's no kriyartha kriya. So tumunvalau kriyayam kriyarthayam would not work. That's why we need this sutram in many places. So please make a note of this very important sutram. Quick example from the Gita is nacha shaknomi avasthatum brahmati vachame manaha. Arjuna says avasthatum na shaknomi. I'm not able to stand steady. So we have Shaknomi, which is listed by Panini specifically here as the very first verbal root shak, and that being the uppadam. In conjunction with that, we see the dhatu stha has taken the tumun pratyaha. Of course, ava is the upasarga here. The derivation is nothing special at all. We just add tumun to the verbal root stha, which is shtha gati nivritta in the dhatu pasha. Only thing here, the idagama is stopped by 7 to 10. Eka cha upadesha nudatta 7 to 10 stops the idagama, which would have been done by 7 to 35. Nothing really special about the derivation. But the important point is that 3.3.10 would not work here. There is no kriyartha kriya. So therefore we need this sutram 3.4.65 to justify this usage of tumun.